And then we had a no holds barred tag team match.
Yeah.
Now I do specify by saying it's a no holds barred tag team match. Just remember that. You have Oedo Tai's Natsuko Tora and Saki Kashima taking on Hazuki and I guess brand new to me, Sumire Natsu. Or Natsu Sumire, I don't know. English way, I guess, I don't know which way is the English way. It kept getting jumbled for me in different points. I liked her gear with the weird cone titties. I just thought, I'm like,
Madonna stuff.
She wearing like Madonna cone titties. I was like,
yeah,
that's actually pretty.
Yeah.
I found that pretty humorous. So this is essentially a match where they were putting garbage cans on each other, hitting with kendo sticks, smashing bottles over each other's heads. Just a lot of like sort of hardcore stuff, but I didn't go too much into the hardcore, I guess. There was this, and they were pouring booze on each other. There was one point, where Natsu was pouring wine onto Natsuko Tora's face. I think it was wine. I don't know. It looked like a wine bottle to me.
Yeah, those special pretty bottles. Yeah, it's like
and
sparkling wine.
So there's been bottles. There's been kendo sticks. There's been trash cans all hitting each other in front of the referee. None of it has been. It's no holds barred. So the end of the match comes with Saki hits Tora with a bottle by accident. Hazuki sends Saki to the outside, and Hazuki and Natsu hit an elevated MX, and Natsu hit the Rampage on Tora on this like pointy board, I guess. And the rest of Oedo, this is where Oedo Tai swarms the ring and starts fighting. And then Stars comes in and the rest of Stars comes in and starts fighting, which is Hazuki's team, Suzuki and Natsu's team. And all hell starts breaking loose, and the ref gets them out. And then something happens when they all pile back in. And this is where the ref just throws the match out. I was very confused because I thought this was no holds barred. That means you can't throw a match out for this shit. Because you have literally let Oedo Tai interfere earlier in the match. Other members of Oedo Tai were interfering.
Yeah.
Okay, so giant brawl ensues. I understand the concept that the entire brawl ensued and he lost complete control, but you never had control in the first place. So this is this is a pointless ending, in my opinion. And this match was almost pointless, in other than the fact that it introduced me to Natsu Sumire.
The Madonna tits.
That's all. No, not that, but I quite liked her. The wrestling she showed in this match was quite good. So again, this is another character from Stardom I'm being introduced to. Again, a lot of these other shows is where I'm learning a lot of the characters from. So again, another introduction of a character that I think I will like. So again, there was one spot. Natsu did the Bronco Buster in the corner to Saki.
Yeah.
And she's essentially she comes in with the Bronco Buster, and then she essentially just grinds her crotch instead of like going up and down and like smashing into her. She essentially just grinded her crotch in her face.
Yeah, as a lady, we know what's happening right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, okay, so this is different. I'm like, I had thoughts in my head, but okay, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Like the rest of us.
You trust me, my thoughts might have been different than yours, but I'll tell you that we're probably right.
Maybe a little bit, but like we were thinking probably the same thing. Probably not having the same person in that place.
Yeah, so in the end, there was no winner in this, so it was just like it was
and
there.
Like,
I
after
guess
that, was there a loser?
I think Saki won in the end.
That's true. The one who took it to the most. Oh goodness.
So we're going to move on to what they call, because that was a no holds barred 6-woman tag. Now we're getting a hardcore 6-woman tag. I don't know what the difference is, except that Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi Tam Nakano, and Unagi Sayaka had paint rollers and paintbrushes and brooms and Prominence just came out to beat the shit out of the others. Again, and this is another one where I was introduced to Hiragi Kurumi. I like her. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
The power this girl has is absolutely phenomenal. There was a really weird spot where Cosmic Angels got all of Prominence in camel clutches and then took paintbrushes and painted their faces. I was like, that is so dumb. But I'm looking at Rias Sera later in the match, and the yellow paint on her almost made her look badass. Right. I love I was like, that actually looks really cool.
Even Suzu, it didn't take away from her badassery. It made
it even Hiragi, same thing. I thought the paint actually made. I'm like that. Like at first, I'm like, oh, it's so stupid. But then as parts got wiped away and there was like just streaks of these paint all over their faces, I was like, oh, that looks dope as fuck. Yeah. Like I was like, especially on Rias Sera's where I noticed it most was like the paint was like across her forehead and then part of her cheek like coming back this way, but it wasn't completely. And I'm like, oh, it actually looked like, I'm like, oh, that almost gave me like an added look. I'm like, I like that. Yeah. But
I actually sent this match to Yvonne to watch because Sarah Risa's outfit was actually very reminiscent of samurai students. So she was very, very interested in that.
Yeah, like there's a lot that happened in this match. They're smashing each other with chairs. There's this like pointy board thing that somebody got slammed on.
Yeah, so those are things that like we would buy to like help vine plants know where.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So they're very pointy, they're very stiff, and they don't feel good when you get.
They didn't look like they were fun. There was like a ladder brought into this. They were doing ladder spots. There was a table spot on the outside where
this match was fun.
Where Rias Sera hit an air raid crash. Was it to I can't remember to Tam through the table on the floor? Like Tam looked like she got broken on that one. Like it was crazy. But then there's just so much. And then Rias Sera ended up tiger suplexing Tam onto the ladder. Or was it? No, Tam suplexed Rias Sera onto the ladder. Sorry. Tiger suplexed her onto the ladder. And Rias Sera literally landed neck first on that ladder. It looked just rough as. But if you've seen some of the other stuff Rias Sera done, that's actually pretty goddamn tame.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's pretty tame for her.
But just watching it, I'm not used to watching I'm not a huge hardcore weapons match fan. And I'm like, oh. And then Unagi set up the ladder, climbs up at Suzu Suzuki, end up climbing up, headbutts Unagi like straight up, forehead to forehead, like Okada and Katsuyori Shibata style that created that hematoma that he ended up having to have a piece of his brain removed for. Don't do that. It's bad for you.
Do not.
And she superplexed her off the top of the ladder. Huge cannonball by Kurumi. And then Rias Sera hit the Michinoku driver, and then Suzu gets a 2 on that. Again, they're just kicking the crap at her. Prominence ends up piling up a bunch of chairs, but Cosmic Angel sprays them in the face with some spray or something.
Aerosol paints or
aerosol cans or whatever. And then Unagi hit a double team slam on like Suzuki, and like she got a spitting. I can't remember. Is it? Yeah. Suzuki ends up Germaning Unagi onto the chairs and getting like a bridging German and gets the win. But like this match was insanely confusing. It was very enjoyable to watch. Again, these matches like it wasn't confusing. It's just there was a lot that they did in this match.
It was overwhelming almost.
I highly recommend watching it. If you have Stardom World, go watch this. It was phenomenal to watch. I think this is probably the best match overall of the night to me personally, because it gave me like TLC vibes from the old school days with some little more like recklessness.
Yeah.
Then again, they were pretty good. Some of the stuff Jeff Hardy did was pretty goddamn reckless, but it was really good. And this is the match out of like the tag team match, the Goddess tag team match, and this one are the two matches I would highly recommend to anybody to watch on this show.
100%. Yes. Look at this picture that we are showing you of these women, and don't be fooled, especially Suzu Suzuki. Look how sweet and innocent and just like
you. No. She lives up to the Suzuki name. Trust me. She lives up to that Suzuki name. Yeah.
She will beat the crap out of you and laugh while doing it.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the main event for this show. Exploding Coffin 6-woman tag team match. Donna Del Mondo's Giulia, Mai Sakurai, and Thekla taking on the Neo Stardom Army's Mysterious Grim Reaper, Nanae Takahashi, and you, who worked the opener and now the main event.
This was feel they did better in the main event than they did in the opener,
they did,
which is crazy.
For the majority of the match, this was actually a really good match overall. Like in ring, it was really good. The Grim Reaper seemed to be very like, you hit her, it took like 6 or 7 or something to like knock it down, and then they got right back up. They were like almost like impervious to being hurt. They pulled the mask off and it came off, but the Grim Reaper had another mask on. It almost looked like a flattened version of La Parka's mask. Yeah, I was really like, huh. But again, there's a lot. I'm not going to go through it all. There was a spot where they went to the outside and there was a coffin at ringside that collapsed. So, and I think that was planted there to collapse for a reason, because the end of the match came, they fought over into the crowd, and was it Neo Stardom Army, except for the Grim Reaper, got thrown into the coffin. The Grim Reaper stopped it from being closed. They pulled out the rest of the Neo Stardom Army. They fought, and then all of Donna de Monda got tossed into the coffin, got closed, and then fireworks and sparklers went off, and it cut to black.
So, my question to you, Andre, is, and then we've talked about this a little bit briefly privately, who do we think is under that mask?
I'm going to let you, because I don't know a lot. Again, I've only been watching Stardom for roughly about 5.5 months. You put out a couple names to me. I'm going to let you explain on them, because I don't know. Yeah. You were saying Kairi.
That was my first guess, just based on who it was. And maybe just the secretism of that. But you're right. The size of her, even the way she held herself, the way she walked, and the stance, it really does show that it isn't Kairi. It's just too the Reaper is too thick in comparison to how Kairi is. So my second guess, and I don't know how right this one would be either, but I'm just going based on what it looks like the Neo Stardom Army is kind of made up of. And that's classics or dominant champions or people who have been around for a hot minute. So, Nanae Takahashi, she's the first ever Stardom champion. She's been around, I believe, not as long as, but pretty close to as long as Nanae, and has her own reputation. Kairi, same thing. My thought, based on the stance of the Neo, the Reaper, I guess we'll call her, based on how she stood, based on how she walked, based on how she fought, and then the last, more important thing is her seeming intimate knowledge, specifically of Giulia. Mai Sakurai and Thekla didn't seem to be a thing to her. Giulia was a focus. I personally think, and again, I could be wrong about this, but I personally think that the Reaper could be a potentially returning Konami, which I would absolutely love. I believe it was March or April where she kind of did a soft retirement and had her last match against Giulia. I would personally love to see Konami come back. She was actually one of the main people that drew me into wanting to watch Stardom in the first place. Between her, Giulia, and Mayu Iwatani, the three of them were just so big the last little bit. I'm really hoping. I have noticed that Konami has picked up her activity, particularly on social media, showing some of her old pictures from Stardom, as she was one of the Oedo Tai faction members upon leaving. So she had that black kind of and purple gear. She had her hairstyle is very cool, where she would actually have her bangs like in a point coming down the center of her face. Very intimidating woman, and she kicks like Suri. putting that out there to put into perspective how well this woman can strike. She's got multiple martial arts backgrounds. Like, I really do hope it's Konami. Really do hope it.
Could be interesting to see a return like that. I think the crowd would enjoy it. And again, it gives them somebody, again, from the more recent history to really latch onto with Neo Stardom Army, right? Because it's made up a lot of classics like Nanae, was it Alpha Female, Jazzy Gabbert.
Correct,
that's the Neo Stardom Army, and there's somebody else, I can't remember the name right now, but yeah, who was teamed with them at the last showcase show.
She came over with you. I can't remember her name also.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it's that it's classics or outsiders. That's who it seems to be. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's Mercedes Vernado, the former Sasha Banks. You never know.
She's a little tall. A little tall to be Sasha, but that would be cool. But she was.
That's what. But Konami. But I was reading Konami's only 5'1", so that's why I'm thinking it.
Maybe Sasha's taller than that, isn't she?
No, she's like 5'2" or 5'3". She's a bit taller than that. So I don't know. We'll see because like there's rumors out there that she's going back. Then there's rumors that it's imminent that she'll be working for Stardom in 2023. And I'm hoping that's the rumor that's right, is that she'll be working for Stardom in 2023 because that's what I want. I don't want her back in WWE. I want her in Stardom. But again,
said, though, if it is Sasha Banks, if she was working for Stardom, would that interfere with her filming schedule for Mandalorian, or is she a regular character?
Well, it's dropping in the spring, so I think the filming's done. So
okay.
We'll see. We will see. Nobody knows.
Also. Sasha Banks, didn't she also partner with Samurai Del Sol to have that CBD? That could
be.
I personally don't have a problem with it. You know how we feel about that, but I don't know. We'll see.
You never know. So we are going to move on. Oh, Mel, you're leaving me.
Yeah, I just noticed that my battery is low, so I will be right back.
Okay.